say a special good morning to our listeners this morning. Those of you listening, Classic Radio 105.5, 105.9. Good Tuesday morning. It's December the 5th, 2023. Good morning once again, and hello to those of you who are viewing GBN TV, whether it's Channel 7, Channel 11, or Channel 20. Good morning to you. Those of you via our social media platforms, whether it's the Facebook page, good morning to you. The YouTube channels, good morning to you. Those of you via GBN's webpage, gbn.gd. That's gbn.gd. Some of I said a little too fast. gbn.gd. Good morning and welcome to another edition of To The Point. Today, as I mentioned, it's Tuesday, the 5th day of December, and it's Opposition Tuesday. It's the other week that we give, of course, the opportunity to the opposition here in Grenada to be on the program. And we are going to have a representative this morning, running a bit late, and it's sort of a bit of my late start this morning also, and should be here shortly. Should be having Mr. Oliver Joseph with us this morning, and he should be in here, of course, representing the opposition here in Grenada. So, of course, give him a couple of minutes and should be here shortly. So, how was everything going with everyone? We had the budget presentation yesterday. Was delivered by, of course, our finance minister. And I'm going to give Mr. Joseph the opportunity to get settled in just a wee bit. And then we certainly will get into the conversation. And he's here. So, you folks should be seeing him walking and taking that seat this morning here live on the program. Let's say good morning to Mr. Joseph and welcome, sir.
Hey, good morning, and good morning to all your listeners and viewers. Thank you very much for having me.
All right, welcome. Hey, folks, so Mr. Joseph is here. I did mention, as I mentioned, it's Opposition Tuesday, and Mr. Joseph is here representing the New National Party, the opposition here in Grenada. And our conversation this morning, of course, will be centered a whole lot around the 2023 budget this morning. So, Mr. Joseph, you know, the new administration presented their second budget.
2024 budget?
It's actually the 2024 budget. But I keep saying 2023 for some reason or the other, but it's their 2024 budget. Thanks for the correction there. Their 2024 budget. It's their second budget since getting into office. Yeah. And tell me, it was presented by the finance minister yesterday. Tell me your interpretation of the 2024 budget, the 1 million plus budget that was actually presented yesterday.
All right, thank you. It's actually 1.6 billion.
Yes, 1 billion plus. I did say 1 billion plus.
1.6 billion budget with increased expenditure, recurrent expenditure, and capital expenditure. Now, everybody listens to the budget and expects different things. Yeah. But as a government, you operate with certain philosophy and certain policies. Before, you will hear people commentators describing a government as either left or right, and that is based on the policies, or a socialist government, depending on the policies. So, the policies is very critical, what policies, and we intend to address the citizens of the country. Now, the main goal of a budget is to help lift the standard of living of the people of the country. Yeah. So in other words, you must introduce measures that will give you that outcome. In a budget, you have the recurrent side that you meet every month, and you have the capital side. And it's on the capital side you will get the growth in the economy. Yes. So, for example, the government announced a increase in the PSIP, the Public Sector Investment Program. Now, that is projects that will be undertaken by the government. Yes. Now, the minister did not mention the implementation rate that was achieved in 2023, and that is a good indicator. Because you see, you could say, I will spend. So we sort of lost that comparison. Yes, but you see, you could you could budget, for example, on the capital side, say you budget 600 million. But at the end of the year, you want to know how much you spend? Yeah. That is a very good indicator, you know. So we always talk about the implementation rate. Because there's no point having this big figure there, and at the end of the year, you only achieve 50% implementation rate or 60%. Okay. You see? So that is, I think, was missing as a key indicator, and what is your prediction going forward in terms of what rate of implementation you expect from these projects? Because there are a lot of downside risk. Remember, this is a budget, the estimate of revenue and expenditure, and a number of factors, the number of variables could affect the performance of your budget. And therefore, it's important to look at all the risk factors when you're presenting your budget. So, what people are looking for? First of all, unemployment among the young people is extremely high. And so I would have liked to see more measures announced to deal with youth unemployment. Because our young people, if they are not working, could lead to all sorts of things in society. So I think emphasis should be placed on youth unemployment. Well, I mean unemployment generally, but youth, in fact, because it is so high. Now, the problem with small island states like Grenada is that the government employs the majority of the workers.
Yes.
You do not have a robust private sector that providing the jobs, so that the government does not have to come in and provide the jobs. And when the government have to provide the jobs, it means that more money going towards salaries and wages. Whereas if the government have to provide less jobs, there will be less money for salary and wages and more for the other sectors that you could allocate to health, to education, to agriculture. And that is the nature of the small economy like ours, where government, unlike everything you hear about the private sector being the engine of growth, it's really the government that government is the one providing the jobs. Government is the one providing the incentives to the private sector to come on board. And in fact, what has happened over the last few years is that we had more foreign direct investment. So, in other words, the hotels that were built, if you look at the last few years, you have the Six Senses in Las Vegas.
Yes.
Private sector under the CBI, the Citizenship Investment. In fact, that is one of the main reasons for Grenada getting involved in a CBI program, because we are trying to attract investment, and it started out with the emphasis being placed on tourism accommodation. We're saying, well, we do not have enough room stock. So we need to expand. How do you expand it? The local businesses are not building hotels, so you have to look outside to build for other people. And therefore we introduce the Citizenship by Investment, and we see the outcome. Top class Six Senses, and they're going to have an intercontinental next to it in St. David's, right? In Las Vegas. And then you had the Kiwana Bay, that was also foreign, And so the government really is the one that have the task of managing the economy, of providing the jobs, of providing the incentives. But I would like to see us reach to a stage where the private sector could really play a more leading role in that area.
That's where the incentives should be presented.
Yes, yes. But the government over the years, and all governments, not just NP, all governments, provided incentives,
Yeah.
Yes, for the private sector.
But was it not taken up upon by the private sector?
Well, not to expand, not to go into new areas.
Yeah, right.
You see,
there's more development on the old areas that was there before.
Right. Well, tell me one local business in Grenada, build a hotel. You see, so what I'm saying is not taken up, and sometimes you hear the comment that government all governments providing incentives to foreigners. Well, that's not correct. It's there for all. It's there for everybody, whether it's local or foreigners. And so you find in this budget, the incentive to the private sector, I'm not sure if it will create the sort of jobs we like to see and the sort of investment we would like to see in the economy. And I think greater focus should be placed on that area. Because, you see, if you the more people you have working is better for the economy, because people have disposable income and they will spend more. And then the government will collect more revenue. You know, they will collect more taxes, because VAT is a tax on transaction, and so the more people spend, the more government will collect.
All right. Let me also ask you this: what are some of the key elements within the budget that may be of concern to you?
Well, that was the concern I was raising, that the incentives for the private sector may not generate the kind of outcome that the government want to see. Right. That is the thing. Now, on the recurrent side, you saw increases in salaries to members of parliament. I don't think people have issue with the increase of members of parliament, because I think it's 24 years now they haven't received an increase. But I think it's the quantum. You see, everything has to be taken within a particular context and the performance of the economy. If you're going to give a $5,000 increase, then while you deserve an increase, but to move to such a massive increase at one time, I think that is where the concern really lies. Yeah. Because I personally do not think that members of parliament are adequately compensated. Imagine you have a situation where MPs get, if you're not a minister, getting 1,200.
I mean, that's pretty low. I mean, they have folks who are older government are working for more than that.
Iman is getting more than that. You know? But that is because over the years, it has not changed.
Okay.
And
so I'm assuming the opposition don't have a problem with that on that level in terms of the increase.
No, I'm saying it's the quantum.
The quantum.
Yeah, yes. The
amount that is. What a part of what was also mentioned, money is for, of course, for parliamentary representatives for their constituency. What's your take on that?
Right. So, well, what I'm glad about with this announcement is it clears up what was said when we were there. The opposition at the time was saying that we were given $10,000 every month for the constituency, and that was not true.
All right.
We received absolutely nothing.
So how was government ministers taking care of their constituency?
Well,
parliamentarians were taking care of their constituency.
Out of the small salary that they was getting. But the arrangement we had in place is that there was a service provider that the money was given to manage. So they will pay the office rent, electricity, water, staff.
Okay.
They will pay that. Right. No money came to the members of parliament. So if somebody came to you and said they want a gas, or they want money to buy medication or anything like that, you have to take it out of your pocket.
Your pocket to do that.
And I think that parliamentary representatives deserve to have a certain amount of money that they can use to help the people in the constituency. Because your salary is so small, and yet you have to dip into it and help people. And then where will these people? Now, while you say you go into politics to serve and you provide and serve, but the reality is that you have to live. You don't go there and so you go in as a minister to make all the sacrifice. And at the end of the day, remember, the pension after 8 years is based on your last salary. Right. So if you get 6,000, you're getting 1/3 of that. There 2,000 for pension. But if it moved now to 15, thousand, you get 1 third, you get 5,000. So you have members who work for all these years with a small salary and now a small pension. They have a very small pension to live. Right. So if you do not have any other things to live by, then you're living in poverty.
All right. I mean, a slight diversion. Has the opposition, when they were in the parliament, in government, they would say, however, give consideration to that in terms of give consideration to it?
Yes. To be honest, we did. Yeah. On more than one occasion. And then the Prime Minister in Parliament addressed it and said that he will deal with it. He will address this matter because you have members of staff in the ministry where you are the minister getting more money than you. Well, I'll use myself as an example. I was a permanent secretary and I became a minister 6 months after I retired from the public service. I took early retirement. And when I became a minister, my salary was $1,000 less. I went up, as a minister and getting less paid at the BS and less paid at the director. There were a few scales above the minister. And then for the public servant, every 3 years they negotiate increases. 4%, 444, 555. Over the last 20 years, they got increases, and because ministers did not receive any increase, the salary went way past what a minister was getting, and I don't think that's fair for the minister making all the sacrifice, have his constituency to take care of, and all his responsibility, and get such a small salary at the end of the day. So it's not that we are opposing the thing. We are saying, well, given the fact that we still have high unemployment, given the fact that we need to provide jobs, perhaps the increase should have been, less. Than the amount that was given.
So should we come back and chit-chat some more? We drew for a break. Folks, stay with us. It's To The Point here. It's Opposition Tuesday here on Classic Radio GBN TV. To The Point. We're coming right back after the break. Stay with us, folks.
Christmas for 2 T20 internationals at the Grenada National Stadium on Thursday, December 14th and Saturday, December 16th. Locals get 50% off regular match tickets, plus an extra 20% off when you buy your tickets online. Visit windiescricket.com for more info.
Like family, it's always exciting when lottery players get together. Now the lottery games are joining in the fun. Check out the multiplier family of Instacash games. 5 times the cash at $2, 10 times the cash at $3, and 20 times the cash at $5. On your tickets, match any of our numbers with any of the winning numbers and win the prize below that number. There's more. Multiply your winnings up to 5 times, 10 times, or 20 times more. Winning is easy. Play Monday to Sunday. There are no draws to wait on. Win instantly. It's the multiplier family of Instacash games with over $675,000 to be won instantly. Don't just buy one, buy all, because family is everything. Must be 18 years and older to play. NLA, making family dreams come true.
On this Christmas episode of Caribbean Passport, there is holiday cheer from Barbados to the Bahamas. We take in the musical talents of the Love Movement, the Carters, and Ray Holman. And of course, our taste buds will be satisfied. All this and more on this holiday edition of Caribbean Passport, right here on this station.
I want you to control your anger. There's a way to feel better. That's one thing to remember. No matter where you are, you can be a star. Stop and take a deep breath and relax yourself. Take another deep breath and relax it, and relax it. Eliminate violence.
Welcome back, listeners. Welcome back, viewers, to The Point here on Classic Radio GBN TV. Speaking with Mr. Oliver Joseph this morning, representing the opposition here in Grenada. So, Mr. Joseph, I want to get into another level of the conversation this morning. Still keeping a main conversation on the budget for 2024 as presented yesterday by the Finance Minister. Now, how realistic do you foresee in terms of the budget presented yesterday, in terms of the implementation rate? How realistic do you foresee that?
No, as I mentioned, you could announce any amount of measures, plans, you could have plans and programs, but the implementation is the critical factor. How, as I said, no mention was made about the implementation rate, because that is what you want to see, that is what you want to know, that is what will bring the growth in the economy. And therefore, I think the minister should have addressed the issue of implementation, because it's for 1 year.
Yeah.
So you could have all these nice plans there on paper, and at the end of the year, you have not accomplished. And for various reasons, because remember, you are looking for areas, revenue, right, to meet these expenditure. And anything could happen, you could fall short in revenue and may have to cut back. You are budgeting for grants, and the grants may not come. Then you have to look for loans, and therefore the budget really gives you explain to you the government's intention. They are saying that for 2024, and the recurrent side will spend this, and these are the areas, and they get a detailed breakdown that will spend. On the capital side, as I said, it will be driven by the PSIP, and that is what we hope to achieve. But there is of course, there is no certainty and no predictability in these numbers, because of the uncertainty that surrounds it. But that's how budgets are done. You make a focus. You focus, and you say, based on the revenue prediction, we are hoping to carry out these activities.
Okay. You did mention, earlier that you would have liked to see more attention put into the to youth getting employment for young people in a previous comment you made in our
yes.
first segment. Mm-hmm. Now, what other, of course, segment of that was mentioned in the budget that you think more resources could have been put into?
You see, the government talks a lot about technology.
Yes,
and that's good. It's technology, but do you have a training plan? You need to have a detailed plan. So, for example, you will say for 2024, we intend to train 500 young people in that field. So you identify the areas that you need it, and spend money in training. So while the education budget has increased, but there is no specific plan to deal with skills training and technology. You see, NULO is one of the leading institutions in providing skills to Grenadian young people. And I thought the government, while they have moved to help pay the tuition for students going to NULO, but you have certain areas where you have in certain primary school the numbers very low, and you could easily convert the schools, so you don't have to build anything, into a skills training center. So that is one of the areas I would have liked to see resources allocated, so you have a comprehensive skills training program, and you teach the technology, science and technology, and because that what you need now is the skills. So if foreign companies come here in certain areas we may not have the necessary skills.
Right.
And I think greater emphasis should be placed in the area, not just announcing an increase and in fact in the education budget, and the increase has to do with school repairs and building a new school. They're going to build a new school in, I think.
Mentioned, I can't recall the areas that they're going to be building the school.
Yeah, I think it's Telesford. A new school, but that is, but this new school is the traditional school, you know. Yeah. Where you go and prepare for sexy. I think the new school you should be, although I don't think you should be a school, because you have, as I said, existing schools that are underpopulated, that you could easily move the students, you know, to a next school and have it dedicated to skills training.
Right. Healthcare has also been, of course, receiving lots of resources also this year.
Well, yes, healthcare, again, healthcare is no point talking about building a new hospital when currently you have a situation where you have a shortage of medication in the hospital. I think you need to address the issues now. In the budget, as I say, it's a one-year plan. How much money you'll put into ensuring that we have more equipments in the hospital and we have medication. That is where the money should go, to provide healthcare. Because listen, healthcare has been an issue not only in Grenada, all over the world, people, because it's so visible when you're dealing with people's health. So you will hear some Grenadian living in England will tell you that they are not coming back to Grenada to reside because of the healthcare facility. I'm sure you heard that before.
I have.
Yeah, so, and then when I went to the UK to study, the debate was, the opposition saying that in the debate in Parliament that the government should put more money into healthcare, and the government side saying, well, not more money, we need a more efficient system to operate. If we improve on the efficiency and revamp the healthcare, we will get output. So it's always debate over healthcare. So I would have liked to see the money for healthcare go towards providing modern equipment and training and equipping the hospital and having medication that people can have access to.
You know, and we also see the nurses getting an extension on the moratorium that they will be receiving in 2023 is going into 2024. Doctors also be receiving an extra $1,000. How do you feel about that?
Any compensation that will help improve the efficiency, I am for that. Because I think we need to improve the efficiency in the system. And if this is an incentive that will improve on the efficiency, I am for that. I think, although money is not always the main incentive, but if you offer greater incentives by increased compensation, you should be able to measure the productivity.
All right.
And say, well, yes, we are seeing improvement, you know. And listen, and you don't have to listen to me, listen to the public, the people who go up there for the service, listen to what they are seeing in determining whether or not, as a result of the incentive payment, whether or not the service has improved.
All right. Now, another question. It may be a little controversial. Anything mentioned within the budget that you would say is commendable? If you may have gone through and you say, well, I think that this is commendable, that what the new administration is trying to do. You being in opposition, I understand your take on it, but anything within the budget that you would consider be commendable?
Well, yes, there is no increase in taxes. And, you know, taxes will reduce your disposable income. So, because before the budget, I heard that the government was thinking about dropping the threshold for income tax from 3,000 downwards.
Okay.
And every time I listen to a budget, I listen to say whether or not there is any increase in
the threshold
in tax.
Okay.
Whether it's personal income tax,
dropping on the threshold per se.
Right.
That didn't happen.
Yes, or whether it is personal income tax, corporate tax. There's a $50 on license additional. Well, that's a fee, So if you do not have a vehicle, or if you do not have, it's not clear to me. It says unlicensed.
Okay.
But
didn't specify. It wasn't specified.
No,
license somewhere. If it's driver's license, vehicle license, it would just an extra $50.
Yes, right, and that's a fee because if I do not if I do not have a driver's license, then it don't affect me. Or if I don't have a vehicle, it wouldn't affect me. Right. So so talking about tax in general. However, a concern I have is with the revenue from the CBI. Now, while the government had a windfall in CBI revenues, that is not sustainable, and it is not a economic policy that you should rely on, because there was the war with Ukraine and Russia, and a lot of Russians rush to get other passport. And in fact, Grenada was the last country issuing passport to Russians. So they had a windfall, but that would not last, because the Americans and the European Union have already announced their intention to go into more details and scrutinize this CBI program. So while you might say, well, you can market it to other places besides Russia and China, well, yes, you could. But if the vast majority, I think, in fact, the Russians contributed about 90% of all applicants.
Okay.
So you see, you have to look at the downside risk in that. And so it is not a policy measure that you can rely on and be comfortable that you will continue to get the resource. And I have a concern about this government heavy reliance on the CBI revenues coming in.
All right. Let's take another break. When we come back, we'll entertain some calls from you listeners and viewers over there. Any concerns or statements made, of course, pertaining to the budget that you may like to ask Mr. Joseph. When we do come back, you certainly have the opportunity to do so when we come back. Stay with us. We're taking a short break.
GBN Television News at 7, a pulse on all things Grenadian. Look out for our new features through expanded synergies with our media partners in Barbados, St. Lucia, Jamaica, Trinidad, and beyond. Capturing the latest in news, sports, weather, and entertainment. Credible, informative. Thank you for making us number one. News at 7, live, Monday to Friday on GBN Television, Channel 7 and 11. K105.5 and 105.9, Hot 98.5 and 98.7, GBN Television Facebook page and YouTube channel, and www.gbn.gd. GBN, with you anywhere and everywhere.
Looking for that injection of vibes and energy, of course? Well, I've got just that. Hi, my name is Gary, Mr. Smooth, and I'm inviting you to join me on the Hot Morning Show on Hot 98.5, 98.7 FM. Weekdays, Monday to Friday, 6 to 10 in the morning. I've got a healthy dose of your favorite and most infectious hits sampled with information, news, laughter, and all the other ingredients that go into making the hottest morning show on the radio. The Morning Heat. And while you're at it, don't forget to hit us up on WhatsApp, 435-7517. We've got topics, we've got discussions, calls, voice notes, and so much more. But I can't tell you everything. You gotta tune in. The Hot Morning Show on Hot FM 98.5, 98.7 with yours truly, Gary, Mr. Smooth. Kaboom!
Mr. mentioned the wing kai, then you have things like man, you must come back, you know. We have the low power that.
It is kind of like the same man, and it's just different name for the same kind of thing.
And last but not least, I just want to say to all the men who saw me, call me, and ask for a piece of cake. I'm baking this weekend.
Join us Fridays at 8 on GBN Television, K105 FM, GBN's Facebook page and YouTube channel for We Culture. Hello everyone. Here is an invitation to join me this and every Sunday until December 17th on GBN Television and K105 FM from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. for Yuletide Sundays. Great music, gifts, and all the wonderful things of Christmas. Yuletide Sundays comes to you compliments Hubbard's, quality service, affordable prices, Grenville Credit Union, Gittins Healthcare, and Clear Vision Eye Center.
Welcome back, listeners. Welcome back, viewers, to The Point here on the Classic Radio and GBN TV. With me this morning, Ms. Alva Joseph, representing the New National Party, the opposition here in Grenada. We did, of course, mention that we're going to invite you, listeners and viewers, within this segment. If you do have a question or two you may like to ask, feel free to do so in this segment. Let's go to the phone line. Caller, good morning. You're welcome.
Well, good morning, Mr. Telesford. Greetings. How are you?
Doing good, sir.
And to your guest, Mr. Joseph. Mr. Joseph, relax yourself. Don't frighten me. I don't eat people. Listen, I'm here and I must indeed say that, Mr. Joseph, it is nauseating, to say the least, to sit down and listen to you talk. And I see you're having problem in expressing yourself this morning because you're not to talk about. But there's one thing I feel happy about is that at least you have learned. You know today everything that should have happened, even during your tenure, and did not happen. So but you're learning, and I congratulate you on that. But there is something you said that struck out at me. Yesterday morning, I sat comfortably and listened carefully to the so-called minister delivering his quote-unquote, not the tour speed, but the budget presentation. And I heard him say, as related to the increased salaries of the elected members of the House, that said group will receive a 5,000 EC dollar salary henceforth of January 2024. That's what I heard. I never heard him mention the word increase, but you came to us this morning and you telling us, and I heard it in your news, midday news yesterday, Mr. Telesford, a $5,000 increase. Now, these expressions are not the same. A salary of $5,000 and an increase of $5,000 are not the same, because if they used to receive $1,200 and they're getting an increase, that means an addition. So they'd be getting henceforth of January $6,200. No. Can you confirm that, Mr. Joseph, sir? I trust that, Michael. There are a lot of other things I like to say, but somebody else a chance. For what it's worth, do have a nice day, will you, sir?
Have a good day yourself, sir.
Thank you. But that's a good question, because the minister did not say that in that way. Because, you see, he should use the word because it's an increase.
Yeah.
Right? And therefore, he should have said in his presentation that a $5,000 increase will be given to all members of Parliament. But if you just use the term that 5,000 would be given, then it confuses the public. And so the caller is correct, and I hope that during the debate that matter will be clarified.
All right. Let's go to the phone line, take another caller. Caller, good morning. We lost that caller there. 435-2041. 435-2041. That's the number. If you do have a question or two you may like to ask, let's go back to the phone line. Caller, good morning. Welcome.
Morning, GT. How are you doing?
Go right ahead, please, with your contribution.
Yes, I would like to talk to Mr. Joseph, please, and make him know that my name is Grace Fletcher. I'm 65 years of age and I'm not getting a pension. I don't know why.
Okay, caller. I'm not sure if Mr. Joseph could answer that question. She says she's not getting a pension.
Well, to get pension, you have to be entitled to it. So I don't know why, and I think she should go to the Ministry of Finance to inquire
and get some clarification on reasons why. Caller, good morning. Welcome.
Good morning.
Good morning
to your guests and listeners. It's unfortunate, Mr. Joseph. You're someone that I know. And the only thing that he could have identified, there is so many things that he could identify. And I don't know why your memory is not bringing you to it. One of them, the first thing I thought you would have mentioned was the $500 increase to the Imani participants. I think you deliberately did this one. But let me say that. It seems as though the NNP ingredient without that Mitchell has become the Donald Trump and the Republican Party in the United States. It seems that the other members of the NNP cannot think and reason and narrate and put forth ideas of their own. They only rely on the leader, and they cannot say anything to disturb him. Otherwise, they would lose out. You all need to reason for yourself. And Mr. Joseph, at least I've lost my respect for you a long time ago. But you are compounding that. You all need to reason much more properly.